tired, I ain't want your conversation. Lazy kind of burnout, need to fuel up at the station. Yeah, I gon' pay for food, I gon' pass the class.
Hello, it's Monday. Today has been busy, 2 hours of Korean in the morning, then like a 5-minute break because Korean went overtime to eat lunch, and then econ tutorial, and now a few minutes before my first datadog interview for the on-site. So there's 3 interviews. First the design, then 2 coding ones, but at least there's like 30 minutes in between each of them. So thank you, Datadog. I don't even know what the design one is gonna be like. There's like, oh yeah, we're gonna use Excalidraw, so some random website, and I have no idea. Well, I shall see. The design interview went okay. It was like just basically designing some sort of thing and kind of talking about like the database and trying to draw out, or like not draw out, but write out what each thing would have, like what each instance would have, and then they're giving me more features to add on to it and checking if my stuff still works. I don't know. I hate it when you have to do like a user friendship stuff. I need to review that because I don't think mine was the best way of doing it. But I should review that. And then in 30 minutes, I have the first coding interview. Yeah, it was really nice. I need to prepare more questions because I just like to ask random culture questions. So I should research some more good ones. I was so bad. Still got stuff. I kind of misunderstood the question a little bit. I'm so dumb. And then they were basically like helping me, and it was all about sets. To make it cleaner, they're just like, oh, you know, you could use this from the set file. You could use this. You could use difference. You could use this thing and that thing. I'm like, wow, I didn't know any of these things existed from sets because I never use sets. Okay, like, oh my goodness. I didn't just have the Python docs open because I'm just googling stuff about sets, and for some reason all this random stuff comes up, and not even the docs. I have one more coding interview. I don't think I'm doing well at all. Actually, honestly, I think this was probably one of my worst interviews like ever. One more to go. This is, you know, I'm learning things. At least I learned all these new functions related to sets. And at least this question wasn't like a leak code question. It was more like actually related to Datadog. But I'm sure it would have been like a leak code easy or something like that. Just like understanding the question, which I obviously didn't. Okay, found the docs. I shall have these open. Look at all these different things. I have a theory that I only do well on hard questions because all these other interviews give me way harder things and then I can solve them. I guess I just go into a panic mode where I'm going to have to think. But then in both of these Datadog interviews so far, and like the previous one as well, it's just like easy level questions. Like they tell you the question. If I'm not like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing, then I'm just like, oh, okay, and then I just explain what I'm gonna do. But then when I get to the coding aspect is where I mess up. Like this one I had to do splitting things and I messed that up and I had to debug. My mom says I need a shirt for interviewing that says hit me with the hard question first so that my brain starts moving. I don't know. Also, I had a hypothesis that all Datadog engineers are very chill and calm people because they weren't showing like any enthusiasm too much. But then there were like these recent ones, like these 2 guys, they were more like energetic. I don't know, it's just the people. That was, yeah, my friends were like, Maria, those are just the engineers, not the whole culture. And I'm like, well, we'll see. So now out of 5 people, 2 of them were energetic, 3 were very chill. Oh, and also I like it when they ask you in an interview to like explain projects that you did before. This time I explained like stuff I did in data engineering because I wanted to see if I could do that. So I guess that was me trying to challenge myself and test myself. Usually I just explain Twitch because it's just like such a linear thing. Like, oh, I worked on this one project, I can explain all of it because I did all of it. But in Shopify stuff, it's like I work on stuff with a team, so I kind of have to like remember what specifically I did, or like partially explain the project and explain my parts. So it's a little bit different. Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know, trying to explain it. And it also worked because data engineering and Datadog correlate. Just finished my last Datadog interview. This guy was really nice, and I even asked at the end about diversity at Datadog, and he was like, yeah, they're trying to do better. It was interesting because his team is like it has infrastructure in their name, and it's like the cloud infrastructure team where they're actually getting the information from GCP and other like cloud things into Datadog for the customers, like my team at Shopify. I was asking him like, oh, would you classify yourselves as like infrastructure engineers or software engineers? And he said basically like most teams at Datadog are like software engineers, but then they all like own their clusters and stuff like that, which is pretty different from the way other companies run it, I believe, like what I have seen. And so but they don't need to worry about like the compute and everything, but they do scale these things up and all that stuff. That's pretty cool. And yeah, he gave me a pattern matching type question, and I was just like literally like tiny mistakes, like -1, like you know when you do like length of something -1, like that was something that was like messing up my stuff. But then I got the question then, but then I don't know if there were other things that he wanted to go through or if I took too long on this part, so we'll see. But he was really nice. I liked talking to him. Yeah, he didn't give me hints. Like the other guy in the second interview, he was just like throwing out too many hints. Like he was trying to do the problem for me, and I'm like, no, stop. Like your ideas are great, but like I need to be able to like, give me like a minute to think. But then this guy was like not telling me any hints whatsoever, which is like you need something in between. Like if you see me stuck on something, like yo, like hints are important sometimes. You know, once you see someone being stuck. Yeah, but it was an overall like average experience, I guess. I don't know. People are nice. But the problems weren't like super interesting. We'll see what happens. I'm just getting rejected all over the place. Rejected by every company so far. Guys, I'm actually in shock. Oh my god, I'm just working right now. I'm just trying to learn Kubernetes and I open my phone and check my email the day after my horrible Datadog interviews. Like literally, I think that was like one of my worst ever interviews. And they said that the team had a great feedback and they want me to move to the final round, which is just a hiring manager discussion. What the F is this? I am confused. It's like just behavioral questions and I'm shocked. I do not know what to say with this. I felt like I didn't show myself well in these interviews and it was just a bad day or something. I don't know. And I also got a Codility sent to me by HRT, Hudson River Trading. Like that was one of the companies, like if you watch my girl bossing, I don't know why I named it this. I was like girl bossing and bothering quant firms or something at the Harvard WeCode thing earlier this year. And that's where I met this company and all these random like quant companies and trading companies. And then I liked HRT the most. And they won my heart because they sent us free Uber Eats because we went to their booth. But they're basically looking for C++ developers. But then they asked me, do you know Python or C++? I was like, okay, Python. So they're like, okay, do this Codility in Python. Maybe it's easier to like move within the company, obviously, like internally, if I wanted to be a C++ developer in the future. So very cool, exciting. Now I have to pass Codility. You know what my new goal is? Is just to get one offer. Like just give me one offer, like please. Any company. That's all I want. I just want to say that I had competing offers at this point. That's all I want. I'm too depressed from getting rejected by so many companies. Like honestly, I thought I did so well in the Figma interviews, get rejected. Do horribly in the Datadog interviews, we'll take you to the next round. What is this? What is this? And I'm not saying that like Datadog is like worse at hiring than Figma or anything. But Figma is like super small, and then Datadog is way like much bigger. And I guess it depends who's applying and also like their standards for the new grads, and also depends on like questions they ask. Like honestly, like the random set question, like when do I ever use sets? Never. So it's all luck and about how they vibe with you, I guess. I don't know. Ooh, I also got a hacker rank sent to me from any scale, so I have to do that within a week. All these coding assessments I have to do this week and next week. Too many things. Okay, I did the Twilio coding assessment yesterday. Super easy. It's actually probably the easiest hacker rank I've done. Just 2 questions, mostly like validation stuff. You can get it easily. And then I just checked my email, and I was supposed to do the Databricks assessment today on CodeSignal because you can only do it every 14 days. But then it ended up getting canceled. I was planning on doing it later tonight, but then I didn't realize that there was like a specific time of expiration because it doesn't show you on CodeSignal. It just tells you the 16th of September, but not what time, so I guess it just expired. So sad, can't do it. Hello, I just had my impact review for my previous team at Shopify for data engineering, and they gave really good feedback, so gotta try my best in prod eng. And later today I have a phone call with the recruiter from Twitch, to see if I get a return offer. Oh yeah, actually what's most important to me is learning which city and which organization, not which team. They don't tell you that yet, but I want to know if they'll tell me which organization because they promised that. And I'd like to know that. Who cares about the price, like salary? Of course you need to survive in that city if you're gonna live there. I don't know. For me, it's okay. They said you can't negotiate. We'll see what we do. Because there are other interns. We'll see if someone tries to negotiate and gets turned down or not. Yes, I got an offer from Twitch. Yes, one offer, one. He said that he'll tell us more later on because they're trying to get as much information as possible. But right now they're giving us like this much and it can only increase. Like it will either be this or it will increase.
He plays nice and talks about himself all night. Wish you could see it for yourself sometime. Ooh, and that's why I've always said that if you love yourself more, you could care a little less.
It is interesting. So they're gonna try their best because right now they have like no information for us. They're just like, yeah, this is a general offer to work at Twitch, but they don't tell you the location, organization, or team or anything. Which yeah, it's like I want to work at Twitch. The culture is great, but it's like I want to know what team. Like that's important. So they're trying to get that information, and they said they like usually like they'll say 2 weeks, but he's saying that they'll try to give us more time. Okay, this backhand quiz was hard. I don't know anything. I am only satisfactory. What about the other one? This is weird UI. General logic. Okay, slightly better. I'm so tired. I finished my classes and had lunch. And in like 45 minutes I have a 1-hour interview. My first interview with Asana. I don't know, I'm not looking forward to interviewing. I just don't want it. I just don't feel like it today. I've never had an interviewer show up late. Or like more than a few minutes late. It's already 2:36. I guess at 2:40 I'll email and be like, hey, no one has showed up yet. Oh, the interviewer showed up, but he was like 7 minutes late because he had to like reboot his computer because it shut down randomly. So he was so nice, and just talking to him, like he's been at Asana for 6 years, and then he worked at Amazon for 1 year after he graduated, and he only did one internship. So he did a bunch of like a breadth of experience at Asana, doing so many different things, like working on the UI, working on performance, so many different areas. I think that's really cool because he wanted that breadth of experience. Like we went through 3 questions, like he pasted it in code. It was like more JavaScript code, but then it's like still I can understand it. And it was like unknown function 1, 2, 3, and you have to like read it and explain like what is it doing, also time and space complexity. And then after that, it was just this other question. I was like, oh, can you design this? And like more about like data modeling and like just making classes for stuff and not like too much coding, explaining like data structures and algorithms essentially, or not even algorithms, just like how data structures would work and like which one would be the best for which case, and like thinking ahead in the future, like, oh, I might need to use this class for this or that, so then I would design it this way. So doing that, and that was really fun. And then like thinking of different things. I never had these types of questions before, so it was interesting. It was actually funny because I did the triple bite in the morning for Ripple, and then they had these types of questions like the unknown function, like what does it do or what is it supposed to return. So then yeah, I think they got consecutively harder. Like the third one was kind of confusing. So then, but then I eventually got it. And then yeah, he was super nice. So I enjoyed talking to him. So that was a pretty good interview. I was not looking forward to this interview, but it was really fun. Can't even think of a way to solve either of these questions because they're so hard. Maybe the first one I could use some pattern for it that I know. It seems weird. I think these are hard level questions. And this is for HRT and I don't know. I really like that company. I don't think I can do this. I think I'm just gonna stop here and give up. Actually, I also just realized that this is the first time that I'm submitting something with like no code that I wrote because I just can't figure out these questions, which is I think an improvement, because before when I did internships, like interviews and like stuff like that, I probably would have gotten like this all the time. This would have happened so many times. But now this is like the first time that's happened, and I've done how many OAs? Like so many. I've been sent like 20 something so far, and I haven't done all of them. Like a few of them I accidentally missed, but whatever. I think I have been improving, but I still need to practice more leak code, which I haven't for like the past week and a half. So definitely need to continue practicing and do more of these types of questions. Yeah, so now I know my level within the trading field. I can solve 1 out of 2 questions for Citadel, but 0 out of 2 for HRT. I've been nervous about this day, like this exact day, for the past 2 weeks since they told me I was gonna have to do this. I don't know. My goal is to survive. I just finished the Glean first assignment thing. There were like multiple parts, but I did like most of, okay, like 5 parts. And they're like, oh, try to do the main, or no, not 5 parts, it was like a 0. So then 6 parts, I guess. And then I did like from 0 to 3, like I almost finished 3, and that was like the main hard one. And then I explained like what I would do. Like I just had like maybe a few lines of code to write before he like stopped me and was like, oh, you should explain your code now. So I shared like what I did, and like I was testing things out along the way, so like everything was working except like the ending of number 3. And it's actually interesting. It took me a while to like think of a way to do it, like the start of it, but then things like followed after that, because you have to like make a choice and decide which way you want to go with like how you want to structure your data. That's always the hardest thing in a coding question. But yeah, then I got to ask him some questions about like his job. He's been there for like a year and a half. He's works on the product team, so building like most of the front end. And there's basically 3 teams there. So there's product, infra, and a search quality team. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully I did well. I have no clue. I have 1 hour before the other 2 coding ones.
This never lasts, but every time you text back, I can't help but reply with hearts in my eyes. I think I really like you, but I never.
I also used eye drops because my eyes are so tired. I felt sleepy. Like I was even like rubbing my eyes in the interview, like the coding assignment. Don't you just love that time of day where your neighbor goes outside to smoke some weed and watch TikToks at maximum volume? Yo, I just finished the interviews and they're actually so good. Like, I feel like the first, for the coding I had 2. And then the first one was a woman who was like, maybe had like 5 years of experience outside of school. And she worked at a bunch of other startups before. And I was asking her like about the difference between like Glean and her other startups. And she was talking about how it's like the smallest one she's worked at. So there's so many differences. And the problem she gave me was like 2 parts. And it's a problem I have seen in algorithms class. So then I was trying to think of it because I could not figure, like, I didn't remember it. So I was trying to like, you know, explain my thoughts first. And I got it solved, so that was great. And I think my code was pretty clean for that. And the next interview was with the guy who has like a million years of experience. So he's the lead of the front end team at Glean, and he had so much experience at Google on the search team and also on the Google Chrome team, leading the speed and performance team that he created. So he's trying to like work on making Glean much faster. And we worked on a problem that you have probably heard me complain about, or like this type of problem I have complained about in my other videos, that I always get panicked when I see this type of question. But I solved it, you know, DFS has my back. So that was great, and I figured it out. And also like the first maybe like 20 minutes or so was like us talking about my past and like my previous experiences, and he was really interested in my back-end experience. Even though he's like in front end, he was interested in like me talking about switching from using cookies to JWTs on my second team at Shopify, because he works in Google Chrome, so like it has to do with browsers. He said that I sound very passionate, so I think that's really good. And he said like, I was asking him questions about the company and like what does he love most about it. He said that he loves how it's a mixture of people who are very passionate and who have the expertise. So yeah, I'm very proud of myself. I was not looking forward to this because I was so nervous, but now I'm really happy that I did it. I learned a lot. I can actually solve problems if I put my head into it, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm done. Yes, I just got an email saying that I got invited to an on-site with Asana. Oh, so cool.
On my side, maybe a picnic for us to unwind.
Hello. It is very cold today because I feel like it just hit September 21st, the first day of fall, and then the weather decided that it was fall. But anyways, today is my final interview of this week. I don't have any plan for next week, so that's great. Or in my opinion, it's great. I need a break. And I have my interview right now, or in 5 minutes, with Datadog. So the final round, which is just talking to a hiring manager. So behavioral type questions about my past work experience. And then after that, there's like a 15-minute call with the recruiter. Looking forward to it. Yeah, that's it. I'm just doing work today. Working on my first 2 issues, or focusing on one of them for now. It's confusing, but it is interesting. I'm excited to work on this team. That was pretty fun, but I don't think I did very well in my explanations. But I think he understood things. Like, this guy has been around many different companies because he went to Waterloo, or like the engineering manager that I talked to. So he's been to many different places for his internships and has worked full-time at a few different places. And he's the engineering lead of the networks and cloud costs team, because that's a new team. So it was pretty cool. So it's like the networks team is like tracing all the network information, which actually my team at Shopify is like definitely using, because we're the network platform team and we want to see all this information. So I think that was super cool. So basically he was asking me a bunch of questions, just like, can I describe all my different internships and like what I did there? So I did that, like a few like highlights of each internship and like what I was learning there, what I was building. And he also told me at the beginning that I'm going to have to explain like one more in depth, like something that I built like either in school or in work more in depth, and like either draw out the architecture or just describe it. So then I told him that I would do that for Twitch, because like it was a project that I specifically built like by myself basically, and then it's like more recent, so I have a memory of it. And basically he was asking me like, what do I think I'm more interested in? Am I more interested in product teams like his, so building something that are used by other people, or am I more interested in the platform things like working on databases or Kubernetes clusters, like more internal things? And I told him I'm not really sure, but I think I do like product stuff, or at least something like his team is pretty cool. And then he asked me a few questions like about like working with hard people, and I described some situation at school. And after that I had a 15-minute call with the recruiter. She'll give me an update hopefully next Tuesday, because I told her like my deadline is next Friday for Twitch. So we shall see what happens. I hope I get something, because Datadog's so cool actually. Like, it has a mixture of like so many interesting aspects to it, like data that I'm into. Like I like data now because I had some experience in it, and then I really like network stuff, and I like coding stuff and everything, and product. So it has a lot of different things and a lot of interesting problems to solve. So I like that, yeah. And it's New York,